Cause we is back once again with another reaction video, bruh. To all my returning subscribers, I appreciate you guys, like I keep saying, man, because I really do appreciate you guys subscribing and supporting me in the channel, man. I appreciate that. Go ahead and hit that like button for me, man, like we always do. To all the new people that's coming to the channel, to all the new people, go down, like and subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the like button and subscribe for more reactions. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, at least hit the like button, man. Dang. We about to get into this story, bro. Story number 2. Like the first reaction video I just did, man. Go ahead and watch that one because I just did story 1. I reacted to story number 1. I'm about to get to story number 2 right now because I'm doing these video by video. So let's get it, man. Let's jump right into it. Let's see what the next one is, bro. Don't get too scared. The first one was a good one. I like the first one a lot, bro. Like, man, like how did the lights get on, and who was that, like, bro? Like, let's just get it, dude. Let's just watch. All right, story number 2.
My friend and I once went to the infamous abandoned Rolling Acres Mall in Akron, Ohio.
They look haunted.
I'll call my friend Jake for this story for privacy reasons. We went at like 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday night, since we didn't have school the next day. We snuck in through some door which had been jammed in by previous visitors. It was completely pitch black in there, obviously. We turned out our flashlights for a few seconds just to really take in how dark it was. We explored the lower level, then went up to the second level by climbing up an escalator. As we were shining the flashlights into old closed-off stores, we heard a bang-like sound come from further down this upper level. I got scared and asked Jake if it could be security or cops. He said he doubted it, probably just more people like us exploring. But we did still try to move in the opposite direction from the sound, just in case.
I would think it would be like somebody else in here with us.
We were right by the JCPenney in the mall, when we heard another similar bang-like sound like from before, this time louder and closer. Jake and I turned off our flashlights now just to be safe.
Turn off the flashlights.
We didn't know who that could be. With our lights out, we did the best we could to make a little distance between us and the sound, without banging into walls or anything. Suddenly, I heard a psst. It came from a little further in front of me. It was kind of muffled too. So I assumed it was Jake calling me ahead. I kept hearing him going, psst, psst. So I kept following the sound of it. When I got close enough, I whispered to Jake, "Where do we go now?" He didn't answer. So I started feeling around for him, and I found what I believed to be his shoulder.
That wasn't even him.
Only the fabric of the jacket I felt did not match the fabric of the coat I knew Jake was wearing.
Oh, man.
I turned on the flashlight and screamed when I looked up and saw the person I was holding onto wasn't Jake, but rather some tall guy wearing a beanie and a face mask.
Okay, there's a person.
The man grabbed me and put me in a headlock as he tried dragging me. Jake came out from the darkness and landed one clean punch to the man's face, which gave me just enough time to take off as he let go of me. Jake and I ran to the same place we came in from, and when we got outside, we continued running until we got to the car. We didn't stop to catch our breath just yet, though. Jake booked it out of the abandoned parking lot, and only then did we feel relief. I gave Jake a firm handshake as I laughed and caught my breath, thanking him for potentially saving my life.
Heck yeah. That's it. That was it. We're gonna continue on. Let me know what y'all thought. That's creepy though. Some random guy though. Alright. But these stories be made up, dude.
I used to work in a 24/7 general store in a mall in South Carolina, so while the mall itself would close around 9:30, our store would stay open all night. There were 2 entrances to the store, one from inside the actual mall itself, and then a back door that people could enter through after the mall closed. Past 9:30, I would always have to shut the gate, separating the store from the mall. Given that this was a smaller store, it was never really busy in the deep night hours, which also made my job very uneventful most of the time. But there was one night shift that turned out to be anything but uneventful. It was towards the middle of my shift. The gate between the store and the mall was down, but I could still see through it obviously into the dark half-lit hallway of the mall. The mall always had night lights on, which were much dimmer but bright enough for the security guards to see what's going on in the cameras. I was doing my own thing, organizing the shelves, making sure everything was neat, when I heard a rattle at the metal cage. looked and saw some guy standing on the other side, grasping the gate with his hands. At first, I thought it was a security guard on duty. It was the only logical explanation, even though it was rare to ever see them walking around. But as I got closer and asked if there was a problem, I realized it wasn't a security guard. It was just some random man. He was wearing a dirty black and white plaid shirt and very baggy blue jeans. Most notably though, and what made this exceptionally strange, was that he was just looking up at the ceiling. I inched a little closer and again asked if something was wrong and if he needed help, but he just kept looking up and shaking the gate. Now, there was some kind of protocol I was supposed to follow in the case of something like this in order to get the mall security. However, I didn't know how. I didn't know what number to dial, I didn't know how to work any kind of intercoms, so all I could really do was shut it out. I turned my back to the creepy man and went back to my register behind the counter, as far away from him as possible. Unfortunately, the shelves are angled perpendicularly to the counter, not parallel, so the man at the gate was in direct line of sight from me still. He finally seemed to back away, like literally walked backwards though, with his head still up at the ceiling. All that was going through my mind was where could security be? It was to my understanding that there would be at least one person watching the cameras at night. Anyway, I tried to just move past it, resuming my cleaning activities. I couldn't help but look back outside to the mall every once in a while though. Thankfully, he was gone now. Eventually, someone came into the shop. I heard the back door slide open. I was in between two shelves and couldn't see them, so I continued with my work. After finishing up sweeping the aisle, I went back to the register to wait for the customer. I saw the customer now. They were standing at the end of the last aisle to the left, the alcohol aisle. He was looking up. At first I thought he was looking at the top shelf, so I looked away. I only looked at him for maybe a second. I bent down under the counter to put the broom and dustpan underneath, and when I stood back up to look at the customer, I felt like my heart nearly stopped. He was looking at me with a smile, not a grin, but a wide-lipped smile. It also sank in right away now that this was the same man that was out in the mall from earlier, only now he'd apparently taken off his black and white plaid shirt. I stared at him and he stared at me, and I think this went on for 30 seconds. I didn't know what to do, and I had actually frozen up in fear. The face he gave, the smile, was a pure look of horror, something straight from a horror film or someone's nightmares. I felt like he stared into my soul. I opened my mouth to speak, and my voice trembled. I think I said, "Get out or I'm calling the cops." He didn't move. He didn't even bat an eye. I ran to the back room and locked the door so I could call my manager. She wouldn't pick up after several attempts though. When I gave up, I heard a tap at the door. Not a knock, just a very gentle tap. I sat like a nervous wreck in that back room for a good 5 minutes, wanting to be anywhere but there. But when the fear of this person stealing a bunch of items and losing my job became greater than the actual fear of the person, I stepped back outside and looked around. But the man was gone. He was gone for good this time. Our shop has cameras, so they caught all of it. When my shift ended, I told my manager about what happened and showed her the video footage. She was shocked and kind of freaked out herself. I only worked there for another month after that, then moved on.
Alrighty. Definitely the first one was the best one. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Wow. Yeah, let me know what y'all think, man, in the comments, bro. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next reaction. I'm gonna do some more scary horror reactions, bro, right here, right now, man. So let's get it, and let's go, man. Like and subscribe if you're new, and if you don't subscribe, at least hit the like button, man. Let's go.